Do you struggle with lack of crafters endgame? With the rise of mods requiring high-level crafting, I decided for a new challenge. I can only use crafted apparel and weapons, organ harvesting and combat extended included. With the new crafting ideology from Vanilla Expanded, I can craft higher quality products at a slower rate, allowing me to get masterwork and even legendary products. We crash land naked brutality on this exquisite oasis in the middle of the desert. How can we survive? Near the rich water lie rich soil, so I will plant some soybeans and cotton plants while I can. They would be very important for dusters. After planting, I went and built a small shack. You will see why later. After my house was finished, I decided to work on an important project. I decided to chop down a lot of wood for a perimeter around my base. The reason for this is so I can make a choke point where I can place spike traps. This is very effective when raiders are unarmed and unprepared. Speaking of which, we already have a raider. Raiders will always go for beds, so I decided to create an opening for her to just come in and die. Now this is where the challenge plays in. I have to forbid the clothes and I can only sell them off, nothing else. After that, I decided to beat her up and make a skull spike out of her. After completing the compound, I went to build a spike trap funnel. I decided to construct the spike traps first, since otherwise you have a chance of tripping and dying. While I was constructing my spike traps, I get an offer to accept a colonist, so I accept. Turns out he had the same ideology as me. This is great. Of course, I have to drop the gun that he came with and his clothes, so naked brutality. When you get to your second colonist, you have to name your colonist, so I put a generic name and got the colonist to work. Next task after defense is up is to get a nice warm house down. Ooh, a bulk goods trader. The only items I can really sell are from the raider, but apart from that, I think this is good. Oops, I accidentally stuck some drugs in there and now they're fighting over it. I had Seth here in the future who's going to deliver the stuff, but before I could even start, I got a raid about the damned ones from the ferals, so let's see what we can do. And by that, of course, I mean leaving it up to the spike traps to deliver some smoke. Turns out Seth was a traitor this whole time, so we lure him around into the spike trap and down him, leaving us with his skull. His body must have locked a scent since 3 wild men decided to join in. I continued chopping up the goal of 900 blocks, so the days were long. Along the way, we get a bulk goods trader, so I sell some beans and cloth. Checking out my wealth, and I was already at 10,000 silver wealth. Guess being poor makes you rich. I finally finished the house and gave Sol a nice bedroom, refurnishing our home as well. I then made a wind turbine for our electric Taylor Swift bench. My first produce was an excellent quality one. Perfect. A new raid, a corpse delivery with a lot of useful items. I'll ignore this raid and let him die. Just as I thought, she was dead. Strip and skull. After that, I ended up making a masterwork duster and veil. I wouldn't suffer from the heat no more. After all this time, I decided to make an excellent short bow to use with steel arrows. Since I had a river, I'm going for the watermill generator. But as I was planting, one of the deers in my pen go insane. Run and gun doesn't work with bows, so I had to force shoot, which you can do with enough range. Luckily, I didn't get stabbed by its horns. Oh dear, how lucky. Unfortunately, I get a wild man in my pen eating my crops. How about you eat this wooden arrow? I tried to tend to him and harvest his organs, but wild men cannot be tended, so he died quickly. Another bulk goods trader for me. I decided to only sell the raiders clothes and my soybeans. Sol was unhappy with his hair, so I gave him a quite dapper look. By this point, a quest for glitter world medicine for a foggy sandstorm appeared. Any day I'll take that. Wait, capes can't be worn with dusters? It had plagued upon me that I might die from malaria. If I fail one of these 10s, it could be the end for the colony. Can I sleep for 1 minute, please? Right now, I could not fight, so I decided to claim all the buildings on the map. This way, the insectoids will run around destroying random claim blocks from the player. I slept in bed and barely gained immunity. The beast was in before I realized. As fast as that, it was already in the base. I lured him all the way out to the compound and sealed the wall again. My plan to stay in wasn't to cure malaria, it was all a plan to starve the insect until it collapsed, and it worked. Eventually it fell, and I could cut its neck now somehow. A caravan arrives not 10 seconds later, after the fight is finished. Slaves, huh? Unfortunately, I could only buy the cheapest one. Of course, I would have bought it and harvested his organs if I was thinking. Watermill generator is finished, which means passive power source for me. Perfect. Silver was of need, so I get a few while I sip my water. Unless I get 4 man-hunting larvae. I was shaking. At this point, I went to eat, but forgot to unpause my recording. We're about 30 minutes ahead, where I got a potential recruit. For now, she will be mining away in the quarry like a slave, because there are 0 components on the map. Oh, a passing caravan. Interesting. And then a drop pod with weapons. I gotta forbid that fast. Keiko got converted. She's a good miner and a fisher. Very useful. I got a very good caravan as I sell off my cloth and buy 35 components. The bottleneck was finally gone. Except this time I got an actual difficult trader. Hopefully I can trust my trippity traps to do the work. I had research batteries and machining, but with the components I could finally construct them. We get the flu again. Fortunately we have a lot of medicine, so I shouldn't worry. And then the Imperials came. They were pretty chill until a raid came at the same time. They ended up fighting furiously. With combat extended and explosive effects, this looks pretty cool. My computer wasn't cool though. Those two ended up killing most of the Imperials, meaning this was my problem now. Dynamite Girl got down, but she wasn't so bad with double passion, mining and intellectual. This is a useful pawn. The shotgun devil was strolling outside and I ended up breaking my walls. Unfortunately, as I was tending to Darcy, the devil smashes my wall. Afterwards, our prisoner ends up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infections. What the hell? Finally something good. Anyways, Darcy's leg got burned off, which means peg leg it is. Unless we failed the surgery all the time, all the infections got over, which was a relief, and the peg leg was inside. While Keiko was mining the sky steel, I'm well mad I'd gotten berserk, and I didn't get a notification about it. He wouldn't stop hitting her, so I had to take action. While man down, as I finally get blowback operation. Proper guns and ammo was coming. I repaired the machining table and got to work on the PPS. It looked cool, so I also went with a few turret packs from Manila Accessories Expanded. The gun was being quickly finished, and oh, what a sight. I make the ammo and turret packs, and I made the loadout. Let's see how this gun is. 5 bursts with 35 ammo. Pretty good with armor penetration ammo. Of course, the storytellers want to see the gun in action, so they send me more insects. The small ones tied to the trap, and the gun turret was awesome. They were slower, so I could get out in the open with them and kill them. Great Mava still didn't budge from the gun, but the turret did a deal on him. Unfortunately, the spitter came close, so I got inside. I end up killing it. But what does the mammoth have against me? Nothing, and no bullets connected except the one on his eye. I got inside to get more ammo for my turret back, but it bled out. Wonderful. I rearmed myself and the spike traps, and eventually got sky steel helmets, which is really good. But I made a mistake. Keiko was outside and Flamingos got berserk while I didn't know she was outside. Turns out Oscar blessed us with his amazing turret pack since they died in a few seconds. Next up, I will need a better prison to connect the freezer so they can get their own food from now on. Darcy and Keiko worked for blocks and resources while Sol was working on the base and researching. I get a new flooring for the freezer. Looks very chill in there. And a war merchant and a quest for mech clusters, which we ignore. I got a quest to accept a colonist as well for wild tribals after them. This will be fun. Whose was really good, but I needed to convert him, so prison it is. The tribals approached, one died to the spike trap, and I wait. And of course the caravan ended up getting struck by mighty lightning while foes fought each other. I finished the raid quickly while another one pops its head open and they throw lots of molotovs. I was bored, so I decided to kill them myself. Gods quickly finish each and every one of them. Very satisfying. Soul here is from Patreon, so if you want your names on my call list, then consider subscribing. And that's it for this video. Please like, and if you're bored, then watch this video next.